Happy Hump Day. So, before I go live, it's a whole process because, in case you've never gone live before, it is stressful. And some people get more nervous talking in front of others than others. And I'm one of the people that get really nervous. So, I have to feel the fear and do it anyway. That's basically what this is all about. So this live video is a topic that is really interesting and I'm passionate about. I'm like I'm immersed right now in my spiritual awakening and evolution, and I'm so excited to talk to others about it. So I realized that when I first started being interested in it, I really wasn't sure what it meant. It very much intrigued me, and I found myself being drawn to it. Spiritual awakening. Spirituality in general, I feel like has been something that I've always been drawn to ever since I was really, really young. And yet at the same time, I was immersed in this 3D reality and all the things that happen with it, all the experiences we have and all of the meanings that we take from our experiences. And it affected me. And now that I'm at a place in my life where I really am seeking out my spiritual evolution, and actually, it didn't just happen because I decided to seek it out. It happened because of challenges that made it necessary for me to seek it out. And that is another whole segment that I would love to discuss, is the gift of our challenges. But as far as a spiritual awakening, when I was first interested in learning about it, I really didn't know what it was. And I figured, you know what, let me put it out there for anybody who, even if you do know what it is or you're in the middle of yours, just hearing it from another perspective sometimes can be really enlightening. I still love listening to people talk about it on all levels. So for me, from my perspective, a spiritual awakening is when you recognize that you are not your thoughts, that you are something very separate and different from your thoughts. Because we are brought up, in our regular human lives, we're trained and programmed to think that that's who we are, is what we think about and what we believe, that that's who we are. That's our person. That's who people see as Bonnie. And it's so far from the truth. And when we recognize that, when we see that our thoughts are separate from us, that we are something else, we are spirit, we are not mind. The thoughts are our mind. We are spirit, and we have a piece of the divine in us. So we can separate ourselves from our thoughts and evaluate our thoughts and think, is that true? Do I really believe that, or could there be another way? Or doesn't that sound ridiculous, that thought? We can actually look at it and observe it. And if we were our thoughts, we wouldn't be able to do that because we would be it. We wouldn't be able to look at it as an observer. So that's the first part of spiritually awakening, is that we recognize that our thoughts are separate from who we really are, and that they can change. We have control of our thoughts. The second part of, for me, the spiritual awakening is really learning how to be in my presence, learning how to be present, and learning how to not get trapped in the program that we all are so accustomed to being in, to living in. For instance, our body has learned to be the mind. There are so many times where you don't even have to think about what you're doing, or even when you're talking to someone, you can actually, look like you're paying attention and your mind is someplace completely else. Like I drove home yesterday from dropping off my husband, and I wound up just finding my way home without thinking about it at all, because my body was my mind. So we're so used to being in this program that when we start to intentionally be present and actually be aware of what it is we're doing. You know, like when you go for a walk, instead of just getting lost in your thoughts the whole walk and not even being aware of what's happening around you. You know, I've had times where I walked and I couldn't tell you if there was even another soul in the street, or, you know, if how many cars went by, or, you know, if there were birds in the sky, or, you know, I used to be wrapped up in my thoughts. And now I make it a conscious intention and practice to be present, to really be aware of what I'm sensing, you know, what my senses are experiencing, and really get into it, really appreciate it. I mean, I love when the weather's beautiful, going for walks now, because it's so relaxing. That's part of my self-care. It's being one with nature, breathing in the fresh air and listening to the birds and feeling the sun and seeing the trees. I mean, that's just so beautiful for me now. It used to be something I just took for granted. So a spiritual awakening is really where you become who you really are because you're more aware. And of course, you're still used to being in the program, so it's not like you can just like shift automatically and always be present. You're still going to fall unconscious sometimes and be, you know, living in your past memories, thinking about something that happened yesterday or a year ago or 5 years ago, or, you know, whatever, last night, thinking about something from your familiar past, or thinking about the predictable future, knowing that, you know, you've got this meeting coming up, or you're going to meet your girlfriend and you're excited and picturing how it's going to be. You know, thinking about, you know, how it's going to be when you reach your goals is another way of doing that. So when you're all caught up in your thoughts about things that happened in the past or things that you're expecting to happen in the future, you're not in the present moment. So making it your intention every day to really be mindful, at least for a certain period of time, and practice extending it more and more each day of intentionally just staying present. And it's okay to have thoughts because that's normal. So not to judge yourself, because just the fact that you're doing this means that you are on your way. And nobody is perfect at it at all at the beginning, especially. But the more you do it, the better you get. So I just wanted to share this with you. I also, yesterday I did for the first time a mid-afternoon deep breathing exercise just to put out there for people who could use it as a way of just de-stressing, or even just getting into more of a you know, plane of alignment within yourself, of balance. So I hope that you're enjoying these. If you are, I would love to hear from you. You know, if you could please comment below and share your thoughts or your feedback. And I hope to connect with you all. I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.